So to wrap up this unit, there's really nothing new in this lesson. It's just a new way to show your final answer when you find the equation of a line. That's all. And you use algebra to find it. So remember, when we were finding equations of lines, we use this formula to help us find B. And then our final answer looked like that. Okay, so we used it twice. The only thing that we're going to add is a different way to show your final answer. This is not a formula to find the equation of a line. This is what we use all the time. But there's something called standard form, and it looks like this. Remember, for most equations of lines, there's an x term, there's a y term, and there's a number. Well, in slope-intercept form, we put the y by itself on the left. Then we put the slope in front of the x on the right, and then we put the number at the end on the right. All we're doing is rearranging the order. So the x term is going to go first, and the y term, they're going to be on the left together. The number is going to be by itself on the right. However, A, B, and C cannot be fractions. And A also cannot be negative. Often when we work with equations of lines, we'll work with them in this form, in it. And other times we'll work with them in slope-intercept form. So just as an example, let's say that we found the equation of a line. We found the slope, we found the y-intercept, we wrote our equation of the line, we got our answer as that. All you are asked to do now for standard form is make this look like this. So the only thing I have to do is I'm going to take the minus 2x over to the left by adding 2x. And when I do that, I get positive 2x. It's 2x. There's still a plus y on the left-hand side. Remember, you can't combine those together. They're not like terms. And on the right side, the only thing that's left is positive 2. That's standard form, because we've got the x term, the y term, and the number on the right. There's no fractions. This is positive. Let's look at a few more. So really, this is just practice in algebra. So remember, standard form looks like this. For the first example, everything's on the left. So what I have to do is I have to take the 42 over to the other side, because the number has to be on the right-hand side. And I do that by subtracting 42. And that will leave me with negative 5x plus 3y equals negative 42. Is that proper standard form? Are there any fractions? No. Is the first term negative? Yes. This can't be negative. So what we need to do is we need to change the signs. So you can either divide everything by -1,
or just change the signs. It's the same thing. So it becomes positive 5x, then negative 3y equals positive 42.
And that's my answer. Because now the x term is. For part B, well, I've got a fraction I'm going to have to get rid of. That's the first thing I notice. And the x term is on the wrong side.
So what would you do to get rid of the fraction in this example? Multiply by 3. And everything gets multiplied by 3. So in the fraction term,
The 3's are going to cancel each other out.
so I'm going to be left with 3y equals negative 2x. Sorry, yeah, negative 2x.
Plus 12. Not quite there yet. The x term's still on the right. It needs to be on the left.
At the front. So I need to pull it over here by adding 2x. And when I do that, I'll get 2x. And there's already a plus 3y there. And on the right is 12 by itself.
So no fractions. The x term, the number in front is positive. We're all good. Remember, this form is the easiest way to find intercepts too. So this form is actually quite useful.
Because we can graph using this one. Final example here.
Well, hopefully you notice right away we got fractions. The x and the y are on the right side, or on the proper side, the left side. The number's on the proper side, the right side. So it looks like all I have to do
is times everything by 2 to get rid of the fractions. So the 2's cancel there, and I'm left with 1x or just x. The 2's cancel there, and I'm left with minus 1y or just minus y. And on the right-hand side, there's no canceling, so just 2 times negative 4
gives me negative 8. Okay. So the only additional thing is when you're given a question like these will do. You have to look carefully when it says find the equation of a line. You're going to use y equals mx plus b to find the equation, but you may have to change your final answer to standard form if it asks for it.
So finding the equation means we're going to use y equals mx plus b. And then that's what our answer is going to look like. But then we got to change it to standard form. What are the 2 things that I need to know? Well, in part A, I'm given it. I don't have to figure it out.
So I'm already halfway there. But B, as usual, we're going to have to figure out
Using y equals mx plus b. So therefore, we're going to use the slope, and we're going to use a point on the line to find b. While our point on the line is negative 4, negative 3,
So those are going to be x, y.
so instead of y, it's negative 3. M is 5. Instead of x, it's negative 4 plus b.
and then we solve.
So -3 is equal to -20 plus b. B is on the right, so we can pull this -20 over to the left to get our final answer. And 17 is equal to b. There's my two pieces.
So you want to use y equals mx plus b to write your answer again.
But then we have to change it to standard form. So right now, if we use mx plus b form, we're going to get 5x plus 17.
Y equals 5x plus 17. But I have to change that to standard form.
So everything was the way we did it before. Except now I'm going to pull this over here by subtracting 5x. So I get -5x plus y is equal to 17. There's no fractions, but this can't be negative, the x term. So everything has to get divided by -1, or just change the signs. 5x minus y equals -17.
And there's your answer. I would like you to give B a shot.
Before we go over it together. Okay. Final line here. Well, and we're going to have to figure out, if we're not given the slope, we're given 2 points. So to find the slope, we're going to go 2 subtract 8 over 1 subtract -1, which changes to +1. So that should give me -6 over 1. Sorry, -6 over 2. Works out to exactly -3.
Which is nice because when that's not a fraction, we don't have to worry about fractions for B.
For b, we're going to use y equals mx plus b to get the equation. We've got 2 points to choose from. It doesn't matter which point you choose. Okay? You pick this one, or this one,
The equation's still going to work. B's still going to work out to the same thing. It has to. Because both of them are on the line. So they must both have the same y-intercept.
but we'll use this one because they're both positive. So we get 2 equals -3 times 1 plus b.
That put those in the right order.
Yes. So a pretty straightforward equation. B equals -3 plus b. Add 3 over to the left. 5 equals b. So right now I got my b, I got my m. And if I were to write it in slope-intercept form, it looks like this.
But we're asked to put it in
Standard form, looks like the only thing we have to do is pull the -3x over to the other side, where it'll become positive. There's no fractions to worry about. So I end up with 3x plus y
equals 5. Okay, we're going to stop there. We're not gonna do the last example.
I'm not too worried about the last example. I'm worried more about this.